and welcome to SJP War Media. Welcome to Gameplay Junkies. I am, of course, BenNny Mac. This is episode 6 of Gameplay Junkies, or Gameplay J on the streams, because they don't like the word junkies, so we get banned otherwise. Joining me from down the road, not too far away from me, really, but can't bear to be in the same room as each other, is Mr. Jack.
Hello. Hi.
How are you, man?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you.
Good. We've had a couple of weeks off doing some Gameplay Junkies. I've literally only just got back from... I say just got back. I got back yesterday, quite late from the holidays. So, back to doing some shows. I'll be back doing In the Corner on Wednesday with Tyler, hopefully talking some wrestling. But we'll talk more about that on the actual show. But yeah, we're going to be talking some games, man. We are a little bit late starting. Do you want to explain why we're late, Jack?
Busy day.
Busy. Yeah.
Nephew's birthday party. So running around. So yeah, got back a bit late. So that's my fault. We're late on.
It's all good, mate. It's all good. We're here now, so it doesn't really matter, does it? But hopefully everybody is okay. Everybody's over to good fun. We've already got some people in the chat already. Connor, hello to you, Connor. Thank you very much for joining us. We much appreciate it. But yeah, man, it's been mate. It was a good week, to be fair. It was good. It was good to.
You had the weather. Well,
mostly it was a bit kind of up and down. The last day. Our last full day there, which was Friday, we had some really good weather, actually, to be fair, mate.
Yeah.
But I got freaking sunburnt. I don't know how I can angle this camera. Well, I'm not gonna freaking. There you go. You can see the t-shirt tan. Look,
yeah,
live. It is horrendous. But then nobody wants to see me in my out of unfit shape is what I'm trying to get at. So I suffer the t-shirt tan. Mate, the last day was really good. Got to do some bodyboarding and stuff, which we like doing. Unfortunately, I got sunburn on the last day, for the last full day on my legs, which somehow I just reflect anything. So it is what it is, man. But yeah, man, how you been? You've a week, obviously, a couple of weeks of not doing Gameplay Junkies, in fairness. But,
yeah, it's been a couple of weeks, isn't it? Same as, mate. Busy. Yeah. To be honest, right, we're talking about like games and that. I haven't actually turned my console on. I don't think over a week. Turned anything on. Played any games over.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, craziness.
Well, we planned out a bit of a show here today. We're going to talk a bit, because what I thought was, because I was thinking earlier, because obviously we're talking a bit off back and forth on chat when we could and stuff. But I was thinking, like, 2023 in terms of video games seems quite packed and quite
a lot
good.
Coming out, isn't it? Quite a lot coming out this year compared to the last few years.
But obviously, like, Starfield is like going to be. I can't wait for that game. We've talked a little bit about it here and there, and obviously we did the showcase more than a few weeks ago now. But I was just thinking, I thought, oh yeah, okay. Well, let's do a look back on 2022 then. What games came out? What we enjoyed playing? And I'm not going to lie, mate. I was struggling to think of a game that really
stood out.
So I had to actually Google. So what I've done is I've done a list of PlayStation and a list of Xbox games. I know there's PCs and stuff like that, but I think let's stick to consoles, because PC have always got some really good games though.
Yeah,
there's some indie stuff that's coming out, so we'll do a separate episode for that at some point. But just in terms of consoles, I was thinking, what games are there actually? I mean, I'm talking games that came out in 2022. I'm not talking about retro games or remasters. I'm talking about actual brand new games. And I was really struggling, but I made a list. But I also thought we could do maybe dive into a little bit more of possibly Unreal 5 engine. Obviously,
yeah.
And I can't believe it was 2020 that was announced. To be honest,
is it 2020?
It was 2020. I was looking it up earlier. So I've got some. Obviously, now we already spoke about a little bit about Unreal 5 Engine, and we actually showed some footage on the video side of things on SJP World Media and BenNny Mac Gaming on Twitch and stuff. But that Unrecord game that came out, and we were both like blown up. So that's part of it. But I found some footage from the demos.
Yeah,
we'll get into it in a moment. So you haven't played any games at all?
No.
So I haven't, obviously. That's not actually strictly true. I have. While I was down in Cornwall, we went to a VR place, mate, and tried out.
You said,
VR,
yeah.
Really good. And we did a Chernobyl escape room type thing, and it sets you out in like a Chernobyl, going backwards and forwards in time and stuff, and trying to find these portals. It was actually really good. It was actually really not cheap, but it was a really good thing. I have to try and look at it. If you've got a VR thing near you, ladies and gents, I would recommend it. I forget the name of the company. I'll try and find it before we go off so you can have a look. But there aren't many around this area at all. But the lad that was there was really helpful. Me and the 12-year-old girl, my daughter did it, and we had really good fun with it, to be fair. And it's so it's so weird when you get into it. But I played a little bit of VR back a fair few years ago with Oculus, but this is like the updated version.
Yeah.
It's not even Oculus, it's a different, I can't remember the make, but they fixed all the problems Oculus had, and we were just doing this. We had to figure out puzzles and find things and use a Geiger counter to find things to then unlock the portal to move to the next level.
See, that's good because I like the idea of VR, but like anything, I will not buy first gen.
No. I think
will wait for it.
Yeah.
Definitely. Just classic example as that is looking at the like we mentioned a few weeks ago, Apple's Vision that's coming out. I would not buy first gen. I will wait until the second gen comes out. They've ironed out all the bugs, and it's ready to go.
Let's see if I can get one loaded up for people who are watching. But no, it was really good, man. To be fair, if you get a chance to do it, I recommend it. You know, it is a bit expensive at the minute, but you know, what do you expect? To be fair, VR escape room. I'm just trying to see if I can find one. Ideally, if I can find, I wonder if Chernobyl's on there. Really good, mate. I don't know whether it'll come off as. Yeah, there it is. There, look. Well, I can find the trailer for ladies and gents at least. Anyway, so I can show the trailer for it. But I've just got to get it loaded first. But yeah, no, it was really cool, man. And you've done VR, so you know what it's like. If you haven't tried it, ladies and gents, obviously I would definitely, I recommend it. 100%. I recommend it. Here's an actual trailer for it.
This is the place you went, yeah?
Well, no, this is the trailer for the game. So this is the trailer for the game.
Become an eyewitness of the events that changed the world. Is it possible to deceive your fate? To go on a journey from which there seemed to be no way out? What happened on the night of an accident? What happened after? The city that became a ghost can tell you its story. The story that cost life.
Now, I'm going to assume that the graphics are better than what I'm seeing. Just because I'm obviously seeing it 720p resolution.
Obviously, it doesn't necessarily show it. Yeah,
it's not going to show it.
720, yeah, so it doesn't show it. I mean, once we get a bit more stuff on the network, I hope we can move on to the 1080 and stuff in terms of games. But I'll speak to Si about that. But yeah, man. But I mean, you've played. So anybody that's played VR knows what VR looks like. But also, like, you played Pavlov, didn't you, my brothers? That
Pavlov. Yeah, we did Star Trek Bridge Crew, didn't we, in VR?
Yes. So imagine that slightly upscaled. I'm not going to say it's amazing, but because you're immersed in it with the VR headset, it was really good, mate. I really enjoyed it. And bear in mind,
it's something different, then give it a go.
It should have. Well, we had a 60-minute time limit, but they gave us a couple of extra minutes, so we did it in 62 minutes and 38 seconds. But that 62 minutes flew by.
And just out of curiosity, what sort of cost was we talking for that?
Well, do you know what? I can check the email now quickly. 2 seconds. But
I'd be interested to see, like, if that is a, because I fancy doing an actual like escape room. But if that's it could be a good alternative.
I mean, the escape rooms would be good, but I think I personally, being the gamer that I am, and you know, there it is. Let me just see if I can find the. So I paid. There's taxes and fees on top as per usual.
Yeah.
I want it for both of us. So this is for two people. So just divided by two. But it's £42.
That's not too bad. That's only 21 quid each.
Something like that, yeah. So it wasn't too bad. We paid like a deposit so we could secure the time. But of course, it was during the week. There's nobody in there. We had some random lads come in while we were in the middle of our game. They had racing simulators in there as well with VR headset. So there was a few options. There wasn't just that. We did the escape room. And there was a zombie game there where you could shoot guns and stuff, and they give you like it. So, there were several options that you could do. But like doing the escape room, mate, it was really cool. So I really enjoyed it. So I hope people enjoyed the trailer who are watching.
Hopefully, if they can get those games knocked out in the Unreal 5 engine, they'll be damn near realistic.
VR will be the next like. I mean, don't get me wrong. You paid Pavlov, so you know what it's like. So just imagine that slightly upscaled. I'm not going to say it was, but the immersion that you're in, and there's moments where you want to put something down on a table or in real life, like you want to put it, but because you're in the game, that table isn't there.
Yeah.
So there is that element of it, but it was rigged up above us. We had a wire. If you turn too far the one way, it would get you to entangle yourself. Essentially, it would say turn left or turn right in the game.
Okay.
In the actual game itself, we come across like on the wall there was like a question mark for like helpful hints, and there was also like a phone.
Yeah.
I thought the phone was like a part of a game to maybe give you some audio to give you a hint. I pressed the phone button, and the guy in the actual room went, "Are you all right? Do you need something?" And it was to give them. So if you were stuck or something wasn't working, you could call the operator.
Okay.
The person in the room.
Yeah.
So it was really weird. And then I've got like my daughter saying, I'm like, "Where are you?" She goes, "I'm behind you." But in real life, she's in front of me. So the audio, even though we had the audio coming through the heads, it was, mate, don't get me wrong. It's very weird. But VR for me it's very expensive at the moment. But obviously there are going to be certain games you won't be able to play in VR, but certain games like maybe like a Fighter Pilot, escape rooms are perfect, mate. We could do that if they come out on VR, which hopefully they will. I'm assuming they will. But we could play that across the internet with each other. So, mate, last thing I'll say on it quickly is very much if you haven't done VR yet, and if you're able to do it, and you have a thing near you, it's worth going at least once. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But I would find it very difficult for people who are gamers not to like it.
Yeah.
And the controls, in this particular game, you literally have a watch on. You pull out the Geiger counter, you hold it, and you can swap hands and get the readings, and then you can put it back in. Obviously, the more and more games come out, the more technical they're going to get and more thingy. But like stuff like Star Trek Bridge Crew was really good.
Yeah,
it was a really good start. It hasn't quite got there yet. But anyway, one last thing before we move on to the Unreal 5 engine. I will show you this on stream for people who are watching. You see that, Jack?
Yeah.
Can you see what it says on there?
Oh, the Nothingness Show cut. Where have you got that from?
So you can get those on the BenNny Mac T page. I'll put the link in the podcast and stuff below. Obviously, we had some stuff taken down. You can get it. It finally arrived, though. Don't get me wrong. I will recommend buying T-shirts over mugs because they're not cheap. But I thought it was quite cool. But obviously,
I didn't realize that was still on there after our issue with EU must not be named.
This one's fine. Obviously, the Scone Wars, which I used the Star Wars logo font for, unfortunately got taken down by Disney, and they didn't like us.
we couldn't have pissed off anyone bigger.
What makes me laugh with that is, are you really going to miss the money? To be honest, and we hadn't sold any, so maybe I bought that myself, obviously, because they make it, and then they if it becomes popular enough, they'll start producing it in Europe rather than it coming from the States.
Yeah.
So at the moment, it's just coming from the States. But I wanted to buy one myself because I don't like doing this stuff and not knowing the quality.
Yeah.
The T-shirts I've seen through SJP Raw Media and stuff have been really good. The cup, it's a proper mug, mate. Look, where I made the logo, look, it's got a white stripe, look, and they've just printed it on. But yeah, there's one, mate. If you want one, there's one coming your way, mate. To be fair, there is one for yourself.
Perfect.
Stuff, we'll sort that out at a later date. But what I want to do, mate, I want to start Nothing to Show again. Obviously, we do Gameplay Junkies. Obviously, we'll get there. But I think Nothing to Show is probably gonna have to stay as an audio format, isn't it? To be honest, I'm using this platform to promote it a little bit. But me and Si did record one. We need to organise it. I'd get me, you, and Si together. Me and you together a bit more often to do them again. We might even just do them live on here like this, but just do the audio version
Yeah.
In terms of release, maybe. I don't know. I'll talk to Sir about it. But anyway. Oh, God, man. It's been a...
Unreal 5 now.
Unreal 5's finally. 15 minutes into the show, which we were 5 minutes late. So, yeah, Unreal 5 engine, man. I think it's going to be... mate, it's going to be a big deal in the next couple of years. We've seen some really good stuff going forward. I mean, what are you hoping from it, mate? Is the first question I will ask you.
To be honest, mate, what I have seen of it, it's got everything I want in it, to be honest. The quality is so much better than like that. What was the game we said about earlier with the
unrecorded stuff?
Unrecorded.
Yeah.
That is absolutely like fantastic.
Well, this
Absolutely
is the Fluid Flux 2.0. This is part of an upgrade to the Unreal 5 engine. This is what's being shown here. So this is the water effects for people watching. I'll go back a little bit so you can see the initial things. Already were talking over it. But
you put the links to these videos into the chat? So
what for you? Or for people online?
For the people online, because what we're seeing here, we can only see at 720p.
That is a fair point.
But if we load the links ourselves, we can actually see along with you.
Well, there you go. Anybody watching, whether you're watching on YouTube or Twitch, there you go. The links are in the chat for you to go and look for yourselves, so you can see it. Obviously, I can see it at the proper frame rate. I mean, it shows you if I move my fat head and do that. There we go. You can see the memory being used and the CPU percentage and the RAM and the frames per second.
So I've just loaded that link up myself.
Yeah,
and that looks absolutely fantastic. So I'm looking at it at 4K resolution, 60 FPS.
Yeah,
that actually looks fantastic.
If you look in the water, I don't know if you're at the same point as me.
I'm looking at the waves. The waves look
incredible, right? They need to work on the brakes a bit more because they would break a bit more. I've just literally just come back from the beach, mate, in Cornwall with really good waves.
Yeah.
So not that didn't mean for that to happen, but that's where we are. But what I was going to point out to you, if that early bit where he's just on the shore, you can even see like bits of I assume is like either seaweed or plant life in the water. So if you wait for a particular moment, there is actually what I can perceive to be either rocks or stones or whatever. I mean, I'd be interested for people to chat what they would think of this.
Do you know what? As well, if you look at the definition when he looks back up the beach a bit, you can see the distinct change in the texture of the sand from the wettest part of the sand to the driest part.
Oh, I didn't notice that. To be honest, I was too busy looking at the waves, mate. I think that's a problem. But look at that lighting effect, like with the sun rays, coming through and on the bottom. And mate, it looks ridiculously good.
That is fantastic in fairness.
Oh, it's switching now.
But what I am curious of, right, is what they are running. It doesn't say. Does it say in this video what they're actually running that on?
No, it doesn't say what it says. Or they might say if you look under the description underneath, it might tell you. I didn't look, but you can see the CPU usage of whatever it is only on 12%. The memory's 3,803 megabytes. The frames per second is 500 frames per second. Apparently,
that's what I'm looking at, and I'm thinking, what are they? Well, I suppose, in fairness, it's not. It's only a base.
The D3, D11 is that maybe the graphics card they're showing there? I don't know.
That'd be the graphics card, but I'm not sure which graphics card that is. To be fair, but
it looks
fair play to that. That is nice. That is really nice.
Mate, I was really like, oh my god, looking at that a minute ago. When I found that, I was, oh my gosh, man. Obviously, we did show this a couple of weeks ago anyway, but the unrecorded stuff, obviously, turn that volume down. But even this, look, I genuinely thought, we both said this, we thought this was a video. Like,
I'm quite happy to stand here and say I actually thought this was a video. I didn't realize this was a game.
Yeah, as in real life stuff. Yeah. Mate,
again, do you have the link to this? You could just put in the chat, just because again, it doesn't do it justice. What we are seeing on stream.
Yeah, good shout. Okay, I'll do that.
If you guys want, I'd definitely look at the link because you can actually see what we're seeing and how actually good the
Yeah, for those watching, yeah, definitely. So this is obviously on YouTube. Obviously, I'm sharing this from. So this is like the gameplay footage or whatever, which is mental to say this is gameplay footage for me. Even to this, I know we talked about it a few weeks ago, so we won't harp on too much about it. We did talk about this on a show not too long ago. To be fair,
I'm just watching the link myself on here now, and it is the detail, mind. The detail, every bit of rubble on the ground, man. Like,
it's mental, isn't it?
Again, though, I'd like to see. Does it? Let me see because I've got Steam loaded.
What better way to off-road?
Right, well, this is the actual demo from the presentation about 3 months ago. The link is now in the chat in the chat for you if you want to join us and watching it. But obviously, we are about 1 minute into the video, so because this is an actual presentation.
Yeah.
And this is the guys actually like playing it and stuff. Let me just change that over so you can see. But to be honest, mate, I thought the car looked still very computer graphic-y, like I could still tell it was a computer generated vehicle. But the surrounding, like the rocks, the lighting, the water, the foliage, also I thought it was really good, to be honest. So mate, in terms, and then you like you said earlier, you translate this to VR.
The lighting is absolutely fantastic.
Let me see if I can.
I get what you're saying. You're right. The car is the letdown.
Even though it's still good, I'm not taking anything away from it. It still looks bloody amazing. But you can tell that it's I'm not I can live. But look at this. This is some of the shading they're doing on the paintwork and when you get dirt up the side of the vehicle and stuff like that. It's still, I mean, even look at the tire, you can see the pressure of the weight on that rock on the tire. So it still looks good. What I wanted to show you quickly, if I can find it, was when they're actually building this this stuff. Like they can change. So this is the actual builder of the game. This is the Unreal 5 engine where you can build stuff. But they were placing things around, and it built up the surrounding areas based. So they had to build this section of so what we're seeing in the middle. They had to build this and draw it in art renders and that kind of stuff. But when they placed it, it then sort of filled out. There you go. Look, they're moving it now, and then it moved. Then it fills out the area. Look.
Okay, so it's kind of auto-generating then, really.
To a degree, there was a. I wonder if I got the
right again. Jacob can simply move the assembly back over. Now, the artist who created this assembly also added some additional handles that Jacob can use to art direct where rock slides occur. Allows him to customize the piece a little bit more, make it a little easier for the Rivian to drive by. So we started by handcrafting that original part of the level to set the visuals and art direction for the entire piece, and then built out procedural tools that allowed the team to create a much larger play space.
So it's got procedural tools in it.
Yeah.
Now let's see how we can use these procedural tools.
Here you go. Those people watching,
sweeping changes to the environment.
watch this.
So Jacob, let's start by removing some of the trees in this area.
Absolutely, that's easy enough actually.
All right, a little too much. Let's add some trees back in.
Oh, literally just change a couple of
let's
numbers.
also add in some cliff formations, give it a little bit more variability.
There you go.
So the procedural systems are all deterministic. As Jacob is experimenting with different sets of input parameters, once he finds a set that he likes, he can always go back to it and get out exactly the same result.
That can be
and the
adjusted
procedural
that
systems
quick.
aren't just placing trees and rocks, but also fog cards, bugs, birds, everything that's needed to bring this environment to life. And everything that you've seen here works at scale. This environment is 4 kilometers by 4 kilometers. If we hide all of the procedural elements, we can see that original hand-built area, about 200 meters.
Everything else you just saw,
meters.
Ladies and gents, who are watching,
we believe
was procedure generated. So the only bit that's actually crafted is this bit here. But based on the parameters and the procedural generation, it
auto-filled it basically.
It auto-filled it to a degree. Now, again, you're going to have to skim over these things to make sure they're okay, make sure they look fine. A bit like No Man's Sky, with the procedural generation of all the planets and stuff they do. But this, for me, I mean, imagine that look like that on No Man's Sky. If No Man's Sky looked like that, it would change the bloody game. No pun intended there.
It's incredible way of doing it. Absolutely incredible.
I recommend you watching. I put the link in the chat for those who want to watch it. But the whole Unreal 5, man. This was about three. I want to say, it was 3 months ago.
Yeah.
That they did that, and I watched it, and it's not a very long presentation. It's about 7 minutes, just under 7 minutes long. But what you learn from it is just like, oh my god, the way games are going to be made. We always talk about it on this show. GTA's are always our go-to, but I'm not saying you don't have to work at it, but in terms of procedural generation, it's going to take. I don't know whether it'll cut game making time in half, but it's going to help.
It's got to help, hasn't it? It's got to help. Anything to get GTA out a bit quicker.
That's a whole episode in itself, mate. But yeah, we've gone very nerdy this week, first show back. But that Unreal 5 engine, I know we've talked about it a bit over this second series, but I thought it'd be good to go into a bit more depth with it and what it can do. And this is early stages still.
Yeah.
You know, I say that's 3 months ago. It initially was built in 2020. They're still working on it. We've had about so that's 3 years roughly. Games have already started to use it. Fortnite, as off the top of my head, have started using it. So yeah, I thought it looked fucking amazing, man. That's what I was trying to explain to you a few weeks ago. If you remember off air, like how it did that whole procedure to that whole area, like you saw, he said it was 4 kilometers by 4 kilometers.
4 kilometers by 4 kilometers.
So they've crafted that bit, and then the computers use that, the AI, to then fill out the rest of the universe. Now, you got to go in and then craft the route or whatever it was in this case in that car for that car to drive around. But, mate, the lighting, the biggest thing to come out of video games in the last couple of years is the lighting effects, I think. And Unreal 5 engine has just taken that and rolled with it big time. So it looks bloody amazing, mate. Right, so let's move on because we got quite a bit to cover. To be fair, now we were talking off before, and so 2023, some big ass. Where are you going?
The camera was the monitor's taking.
You just for those watching, Jack just seemed to like disappear. He just went way down. It was funny, but yeah, some big games coming out in 2023. Starfield being one of them. Arc 2 is being talked about as well. So there's loads more. We'll talk about that as the year goes on. But I thought it'd be cool to look back at. And like I said, mate, I struggle with this. Now we'll start with PS5. Now I know you've played at least one of these PS5 games I'm going to bring up.
Yeah.
I always like the look of this first one. To be honest with you, I just need to move that over there. But I've never played it as on PS5. I think it might be on Xbox now. I don't know. I could be wrong on that. But the concept of it, I always thought would look quite interesting. I don't think I play it long, but I thought Stray looked quite interesting, mate. I don't know whether you know much about it.
I saw the trailer. I haven't played it. I did see the trailer,
but it came out in. Oh, sorry, go on.
No, carry on.
I was just going to say it came out in July of 2022. Stray was one of the most surprising games of the year. It was developed by Blue 12 Studio. It's a debut title. You play as a cat, which is rare in any video game. Let's face it. I don't think you play as a cat in any other video game that I'm aware of. I'm trying to think. No, I don't think you do. It's a futuristic cyberpunk style game. Weirdly, at the moment it doesn't look like that. What we're looking at right now. Let me just fast forward it a bit, and we'll have a look. That's an advert, so that's not helpful at all, is it? We're not going to show that. Remove that quickly. Stupid YouTube. But yeah, it's a futuristic. I'm assuming it looks like a puzzle game. But it scored quite high up on the PlayStation side of things. I think people liked it. So, I mean, I haven't got much more to say about it than that, mate, to be honest. I mean, what are your thoughts on it? You said you saw the trailer.
As I said, I saw the trailer, but I haven't played it, and to be honest, I haven't looked. I haven't seen anything really on it since I watched that trailer. I think I watched the trailer. Was it a PlayStation? It might have been a PlayStation event in 2022, I think, but I could be wrong. There was a whole year ago. You can't expect me to remember that far back.
All right, okay. Well, so it's based on what I'm looking at. It says that the I did write the notes down. Cyberpunk World, like I said, it's only robots remain. Basically, there's no humans left by all accounts. Apparently, according to this website, Stray is a wonderful game. Has so much heart and passion bursting out of it. Also, there's a meow button. But what you just walk around. I don't actually know what you do. It feels like, based on what I read about it, it was like a puzzle game.
Yeah.
But it is one of those games that came out, and apparently it did really well on PlayStation. But meanwhile, I don't know whether that's a negative thing or whatever. But it was one of those games that came out in 2022. It's hard to, like I said, pick a game that that came out in 2022 that is that's really good. I guess I don't know really what I want to say about it. Yeah, Stray. There you go, PlayStation for you. When I first started making the PlayStation list, I was going to go, "Oh, Spider-Man, that's a really good game." Blah blah blah. Didn't come out in 2022. It came out in 2018. Believe it or not.
Did it?
2018.
When did the Miles Morales one come out?
That is the one. As far as I googled it, mate. Apparently, that's when it came out in 2018.
No.
Apparently so, mate. That's what I'm looking at. He's going to Google it now to try and prove me wrong here, but I am right because I Googled it earlier.
No, there's no way.
Yes, it did, mate. It came out in 2018. Gran Turismo 7 came out in 2022 as well. Now, Gran Turismo, I've not played since Gran Turismo 1 and 2 on the PlayStation. I think I played a little bit of Gran Turismo
2020?
Either way, it's not 2022 then, is it? I Googled it. It's 2018, mate.
What are you Googling? Spider-Man Miles Morales, the game, PS5 release.
I typed in Spider-Man PS5.
12th November 2020.
I typed in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
PlayStation 5.
Yeah, that's the other Spider-Man. This is the Miles Morales one.
Either way, it doesn't matter. It came out in 2020. It's not 2022. There's not much point talking much about Gran Turismo 7 with you because you're not really a racing fan anyway. No. I was never a massive fan, and they're great franchises. I enjoyed back in the day. I enjoyed playing them when I was a bit younger, but it's like Forza as well. I'm not doing it just because it's PlayStation. I'm not a big fan of Forza racing games either. They look freaking amazing, but I am more of an F1 person, so that's why I like the I can't remember what I was talking about now. F1, yeah. So yeah, not going well today. First show back, mate. Okay, cool. Do you send that on Facebook, mate? Is that what you get at? Yeah. Okay, cool. I'll send a link. Well, don't worry, mate. That is on the list. Don't worry about it. It is on the list. But yeah, I mean, look graphically, it still looks bloody good, to be honest. But after you've just seen some Unreal 5 engine stuff, it's still good. But there's another level of gaming coming very soon. So I know it has a massive following in terms of Gran Turismo 7 is basically Gran Turismo games as well. And there's a Gran Turismo film coming out soon, isn't there?
Yes, there is. Yeah.
My mic's decided it wants to buzz at me. 2 seconds. There we go. Hopefully. Can you hear it buzzing? I can hear it buzzing.
No.
It's fine then.
But I think that does leave the last game here on your list for PlayStation. Got to be one of the biggest ones.
If this is not the biggest game of the PlayStation in 2022, I don't know what is, to be honest. But yeah,
God of War, isn't it? Ragnarok.
You've played this, so we can actually talk a lot more about it. I've not played them. I played one on the PS4, I think. But I didn't really have the console long enough because I borrowed the console of somebody. So, I tried a few games. But I mean, I love it's. We all like Christopher Judge. We're Stargate fans. So, when they announced this, the response from the crowd was amazing. I mean, what do you think? You've played it. I don't know how did you complete it after? I know you were struggling to get it done.
And I'm sure a friend of mine is going to give me some more abuse on this point, but no, I haven't completed it yet. I haven't got any further than the last time.
He needs to download COD before he says anything else. So
yeah, no, it is that friend. Yeah. I think I'm about halfway through it. To be honest, I haven't had time to turn my Xbox on, let alone my PlayStation.
Yeah.
It was a fantastic game for what I've been playing, and I'm really enjoying it. The story is great. The gameplay is great. As I said, it's just having my lack of time to play at the moment. I've actually done that bit that we're watching now.
Okay, so you've done. So I don't want to spoil it too much. I don't want to go too far into the game.
No. Yeah, I've done all this bit.
I mean,
So,
in
yeah,
terms of people that don't have a PlayStation, mate, what type is it? Like an Assassin's Creed?
No. It's a very story driven game.
Yeah.
Like you're best watching the cutscenes and stuff like that.
Oh, that must be hard for you.
It is. But it's basically, so you play as the two characters, Atreus, which is the kid on the screen now, and his dad, and they both have slightly different storylines going on, because there's one big story, but they're kind of doing their own bits at the same time, the same time as that.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. So I can't really say too much about ruining it, but it is a fantastic game, especially if you've been following the God of War franchise through. The graphics look really good, really do look good. Again, it is something that you can't really tell from what we're watching now, but the graphics do look fantastic, and the storyline is great.
Okay.
I'd recommend, basically, once I've completed it, you should borrow my PlayStation and play it yourself, because I think you'd really enjoy it.
Might have to give that a go then, because it does look good. Again, it's not because it's on the PlayStation. Because once PS2 came out, I had a PS2, but when the first Xbox came out, mate, I went to Xbox and I've never really looked back. So I've never had a PlayStation since.
See,
it is one of those franchises I look at and go, I wish I could play it. You know, go on.
I was the same. The only reason I have the PS5 is because I wanted to play Spider-Man.
Yeah, I remember you saying before. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know if you said it on the show before, but I remember you saying it before. I'm trying to find that link you sent me. Is this you playing it? Is it?
Yeah.
For later on, okay. We'll move on to that in a little bit, anyway. But yeah, mate. It's a great. It looks pretty great. Again, it's one of those franchises. It's almost like, and the PlayStation players are going to kill me. I can't remember what the frick they made a film. Uncharted. Is it Uncharted?
Yeah.
What's the other big?
I have only played a bit of that. I've not played much on it.
Oh, Last of Us is what I'm thinking.
Last of Us. Sorry. Again, see, I've not actually started that franchise yet. I've heard great things about it. Great things. A lot of people that played the game says it's fantastic. It's on my to-do list. I just got to complete God of War first, otherwise I might be killed.
Or I might be killed. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say this is one of the best games. The next game, we're going to move on to Xbox, mate. This is more of a personal favorite for me, because it has the just the nostalgia for me from when I was younger. Something I watched absolutely religiously in my early years. But the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge came out. It's an arcadey, old school game. You know, it isn't. I need to get the right freaking view. There we go. It isn't the like. It's a side scroller fight, beat 'em up type game. I love the intro. Not that I don't think I can play it. That's all I can play because I'll probably get done.
Yeah.
But the remake of it, you got Splinter in it and stuff like that. Bebop and Rocksteady. Let's just get into the gameplay quickly. I'm not going to talk massive about it. It is what it is. Look at it. It's a great art style, though. I love the look of it. I think it's all. It feels like it's all hand drawn. I don't know whether it is or not. It might very well be, but I've really enjoyed it. You can play with I think you can play with a mate online, which is a struggle we had on one of the other games. You can actually play with somebody online because some of these games, when they come out, they're like, I think I could be wrong on that. No, because me and Nick were playing it. So no, me and Nick played this online together, which was good because there was a Power Rangers one that came out a fair few years ago, and we're like, oh yeah, get it, because slide scroll like this, and it didn't work because it was couch play.
Okay.
Whereas this is actually online, so you can jump in with three mates and be all the turtles and go through the. It's a button masher, mate. It is what it is. It's more nostalgia.
Yeah.
As I said, for me, I had a lot of fun on it. But again, 2022, mate, didn't have exactly
biggest lineup, did it?
Biggest lineup of games for me. I mean, if anybody's in the chat watching, listening now, any games we're not mentioning, please throw them our way on Twitter at Gameplay Junkies, or even in the chat if you are now live. with us. Personally, mate, I enjoyed playing it. It was good fun. Little Easter eggs in there for people that are fans of the 80s cartoon. And I've not watched it since I watched it in the early 90s.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I remember having an argument with Nick, which happens quite a lot. But because I remember the show being called Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles, which it was over here. But actually, the show was actually called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles everywhere else. But for some reason in Europe, they weren't allowed to use the word ninja at the time.
I always thought it was ninja.
It is. The original name is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. When I was younger, there was Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles.
Oh,
and they changed it to Hero for some reason. And I remember the documentary came on Netflix a fair few years ago, if you remember. And it was on there, and I was like, yeah, screw you, Nick. So, but it's like the ninja word is naughty, like a naughty word. I don't know why.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to talk about one next, which you know about. So not the two that are left, but any games you can think of the top of your head that came out in 2022. That's the problem. Any PC ones that obviously I've didn't put any PC on the list, but
COD. That
COD
was Warzone 2 was last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, COD. You mean 2019 COD?
Was it 2019? No. Call of Duty Warzone 2 was this year, wasn't it? 2022 was that this year?
I told you to tell me one that isn't on the list.
Oh, it's not on my list.
Did you download the second list?
Maybe I've opened the wrong list.
In that case, since you brought it up, it is on the list, and I will put it on. I mean, we've talked about this game at length before, so we're not going to go too much on it, but I will say maybe talk a bit more about the... didn't have time to prep, did we, mate? Because you were late coming on.
Ooh, okay.
My point is the campaign modes, which is what I want to talk about more about, because we've talked about more about the online and stuff and DMZ and stuff before in the past. So, I mean,
I enjoyed the campaign.
I want some. I know we're kind of having more of it during the Warzone stuff, aren't we? In the DMZ,
yeah.
But I would like.
I enjoyed the campaign. To be fair, I actually enjoyed this mission that you're watching now.
This is the first mission in the game.
Isn't it? Is this the prison one?
No. This is when you're going to take out a target. Well, you'll see it.
Oh, yes. I remember. The prison one, the prison mission, though, I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
That was good.
The whole story for this was really good. I love the Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. I love the story in that, Modern Warfare 2 and stuff. 3 was okay. It was what it was. But 2019, obviously, we've said to before on these shows, was the first one we really liked again, and this is followed on really well, I think, for a sequel.
Definitely.
Very much enjoyed this. So the campaign was really good. If you haven't played the campaign for some strange reason, give it a go, ladies and gents. But I've got to mention it. It's definitely one of the. I know it's got its retractors and its critics. I know the online has problematic. It's got issues. With PC and cheats and fucking aimbot and all this bullshit that goes on. Yeah. With you guys, I enjoy DMZ. If you got a good group of mates play DMZ, I would suggest. To be honest, yes. Do you still come across the BS? Yeah, you do, unfortunately, but it's less of it, I think, isn't it, on DMZ?
I really like DMZ. I was big Warzone fan. I've been a battle royale fan since they come out. DMZ is probably one of my favorite game modes at the moment. Yeah,
to be honest, I feel like you could just have a game like that. I know it's kind of people will say that the DMZ is very similar to the Division.
Yeah,
obviously, which it is. It is. I'm not disputing that at all. I love doing this mission when you fly the cruise missile towards the enemies and stuff like this. But even the bit in the Mexican bit when the Americans take over the Mexican base and they basically betray the British and Mexican soldiers.
See, what I find is if I play a game and it is keeping me constantly wanting to find out what happens next, it's good. And that did with this campaign. I think I played this continuously over 2 days and completed the campaign. That mission you just scrolling past them with the cars and the vehicles, that was hard.
Bloody adverts on freaking YouTube.
You need YouTube Premium, mate.
Oh, mate. mate. Well, if the show ever makes some money, we'll get it. All right, but at the moment, we're not, so it's not happening. It's a pain in the ass when you're trying to show somebody something, isn't it? There we go. Right, but yeah, this was the only mission in the game that took me several attempts to do because it was so freaking just I couldn't. You got to jump from vehicle to vehicle, right? If I remember, I did that anyway. Maybe don't do it. Maybe that's why I did it wrong. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, you are still there. Okay, that's fine. I thought we lost you then. But yeah, no, it was a bloody great campaign, mate. To be honest, I feel like at this stage of its development, I feel like we should be able to play at least a co-op, a 2-player, like a campaign, 2-player campaign or whatever. I feel like we should be able to either online, preferably online.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like it should be a we could have like a co-op game. This one, I think, if I remember this mission, you had to sneak into like a mansion and go. It felt very Hitmanish.
Yeah.
That it did. But yeah, man. Overall, I really enjoyed the campaign. I haven't played it back, to be fair, since I did it the first time.
I haven't. But actually, watching the gameplay then, to be honest, I think I might play it. I've got some free time this week coming, so I think I might go back through it again.
Yeah, 100%, mate. It's a bloody great game. Connor in the chat. I wish sports games got more love, but games like FIFA, for example, is just a kit and roster update. Yeah, you are. It is. It's
exactly what FIFA is.
That is the problem.
FIFA should be a DLC.
The only reason we're not doing sports games, Connor, I like them. Jack's not really a big fan. So to be fair, I like certain ones.
I have probably owned every FIFA bar this last year's one. And the reason why is I was sick of paying 60 quid full price, or 70 quid even, for a DLC.
Which is what Connor's alluding to, which we all agree, 100%. Essentially, and you could even argue, maybe not now because the game needs to be is being rebuilt in the WWE franchise, but you could even argue that with the WWE games and the wrestling games. To be honest,
I enjoyed the new mode. What was it called? Where you took over that young player?
Oh, they're like oh, for God's sake, I know what you mean.
And it was his story, wasn't it? And you were like making
going up through the ranks type thing. Yeah. Or starting your career in football. Yeah, no. Yeah. Oh God, what was it called? They did carry on doing it for a little bit. They even did it in the F1 game recently, where a couple of last game, I think, or the game before. They never followed it up.
No.
With the next story or whatever. So yeah. Connor in the chat. Is there a new Call of Duty this year, or are we still stuck on Modern Warfare 2022 for another year?
Rumor I've heard is that it's going to be Modern Warfare 3 this year.
There is going to be another one.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Apparently, it's. Oh, let me see if I can. Well, I'm sure I heard that it's going to be Modern Warfare 3.
Okay.
As part of hearing, the next Call of Duty game, Modern Warfare 3, will be released November 2023. So that there's not been a official release statement or anything on it, but because obviously Microsoft are going through their big legal battle, aren't they, with the FTC over the deal. Apparently, a judge made reference to the next Call of Duty game being Modern Warfare 3 and release in November. November is the right time scale for a Call of Duty. And to be honest, I'd be very surprised if, because obviously Modern Warfare is their bread and butter, really, is the better one in it. So it wouldn't be surprised me if that's what they've done.
Hopefully. So I was just going to say, Connor in the chat again, if that's the case, I want a free campaign update where it continues the story, because multiplayer is not my thing. It's too sweaty. I understand why people get annoyed with it. We play the gun game a little bit. Like I said, we do DMZ. We do a little bit of online. We've done a little bit of Warzone.
Have you tried, Connor, the raid on?
Oh yeah, the raid.
because we do that as a trio, don't we?
Yeah, so the raid stuff, Con, if you're not aware, is like they it is continuing the story, but they release like you need to have at least one
chapter.
Yeah. To do it, don't you? So
and they release a chapter every couple of seasons, isn't it?
Yeah,
on
so
battle pass cycles, and it's actually have we done 3 now?
We've done 3. Me, you, and my brother have done 3. We've actually really enjoyed it.
They can be frustrating as absolutely anything, because there's quite a bit of challenging like bits there, like puzzles to some extent.
Yes, yeah.
One of the, won't spoil too much, but one of them we had to you had a control room either side of a gas-filled room.
Oh fuck me, yeah, I remember.
And we had to get all 3 of us through the gas-filled room to the other control room. But you had 3 controls in each room to one was to open the door, one was to vent the gas, one was to turn the fan off so you can escape through.
Yeah, it's quite fun.
But so one of us would run through while the others controlled it, and had to get to the other side where the same set of controls were to do that. But while you're there, you're getting attacked. So the 2 that stayed behind's getting attacked. Then when you take control from the other side, you're getting attacked. So you kind of got to balance defending your position while also pushing your team and getting them through from one side. It's quite challenging, but really good story to it. Really good mode of doing it.
Just looking now to see if I can find some footage for Colin to see it and anybody to have a look at it.
It took us ages, didn't it, to do that part? To do that mission. We was trying that over and over again and trying different ways of doing it. But it was really and there was another challenge on there where you had to jump across open hatches, but if more than one person was on the hatch, it would collapse, and there was a time limit on each hatch, how long it would stay up for you to stand on it. And that took a while to figure out the pattern and how to get everyone across, because if you didn't all jump perfectly each time, you would either end up with 2 people on one, or the last person would run out of time with the hatch being up, wouldn't they?
Yeah. It to be honest, that you talking about the control room with the gas chamber and all that kind of stuff. I didn't. Yes, it was frustrating, but nowhere near as frustrating as the hatches. We were like bloody Mario trying to fucking jump over bloody pipes and shit. Oh god! And of course, you all have to go at the same time, but the person in front can't jump until the next one opens. So if the person behind the guy in front is too eager, if he jumps on if you have 2 people on one lid, it'll just collapse. So you've got to time it perfectly, and it took us a fair old. Yeah, mate, just think of that. I wish we could have filmed it in a way.
I've just remembered the last one we did with the numbers and the computers, and we had to jump across the room, didn't we? To solve the patterns and hit the computers at the different sections.
Was that episode? Was that raid?
That was episode 3. That was the last one we just did, wasn't it? And you had different computer terminals across the wall, and you had to figure out the code and then type the code in at the specific time. But you also had time limits for each number of the code. And I enjoyed that one, actually. I did enjoy that one. It didn't take us as long as the other ones did.
No. We kind of got a bit long on COD, but let me just this is a group of people.
This is the one. This is the one.
This is the one. Yeah. So
you have to jump across and get to each of the computers to put your code in, but the others on your team have got to do the same to get to the different codes. And
there's numbers laid out in the room, and we can't.
You can see 4 over there now.
Yeah. You can see number 4. So then we had to work out who could run to what, and then so the numbers you see on the screen here. I'll try and pause it now. Hang on. So it's these numbers you see here on the screen here. So 42987. This keeps going. We had to type
a plan who could get, didn't we, from one area to I could do say 4, 9, and 8 because they were reasonably close to me and running.
Yes,
distance.
Yeah, that's it.
You took the other numbers, and the third person took the other numbers, and it took us a few attempts, but we got there pretty.
We did do it. We got there, and so while you were running to number 2, say, I then had to run from. So Jack would say hit number 2. Okay, Jackson, now there's a time limit of how long you have to hit for the next one. So my brother maybe say is at number 3 for argument's sake, or number 5. So Jack will go 2. While Jack's hit number 2, Nathan waits for the time to tick down as much as it can, hits number 3 while Jack is running to number 5, say, and then I would hit my number, say number 8, and then when I've hit number 8, I then got to start running to number 1. You work it out. Don't get me wrong. You will work it out. But if you can get a group of you to play it, it is actually quite good fun.
One thing we also found as well, it was best to drop the guns because you actually run that slight bit faster. So we dropped all of our weapons, didn't we? Because we could run that slight bit faster and actually do it.
Not trying to be thingy, but I don't normally figure these things out. Wasn't that me that figured that out? And I went, drop your one gun, guys, and go to just your hands, because you can run faster than holding a rifle or whatever it was. So yeah, mate, I forgot about the new raid. Must be up now. Episode 4 must be up now. We got to give that a go, mate.
Oh yeah, we'll have to do that because that I enjoyed that. In fairness,
yeah. Last game before we come off, then I want to chat about quickly. This actually made a really good showing on both consoles, and Elden Ring.
Game of the year, wasn't it? If I remember rightly.
Was it Game of the Year? Was it? So yeah, it was one of the bigger ones.
Most frustrating game I've ever played in my life. I've never died so much in a game, but absolutely fantastic game. It's not normally my type of game. I'm not normally that sort of like I play those sort of games, but they're absolutely fantastic.
Mate, these types of games have not been on my RPGs. I want to say RPGs necessarily. The video's not loaded now. Typical. These types of games have not really been up until maybe 5-6 years ago. RPG style games like this or sword based games have not really been in my wheelhouse. But what do they get? I mean, I say that it's been more lately, but I did try games like Fable, and stuff like that back in the day. Now I would say Fable is more like a light version to Elden Ring, to be fair. But a massive map to explore. There's no most games will give you a waypoint.
Yeah, there's not really much direction, is there? Other than the odd bit here and there, but there's nothing no real way. And the way they do multiplayer, so you can't just join multiplayer, can you? You can, if you're fighting someone in that area where he is now, you can summon someone there to help you, but they can only help you for that split time in that specific area.
Well, isn't it for bosses they can?
Yes.
But even if, so say this is me or you now here, as you're saying about summoning, one, you've got to make the potions.
Yeah.
You can't just go summon. You have to make the potions and get the dagger and all that kind of stuff. But also, if Jack wants to summon where this guy is right now, I have to be there for him to put down a marker.
Exactly. You have to be there in your own world for you to see my marker.
Correct. And then I have to then cast a spell myself in order to see these markers.
Yeah. So
it's not like, send me an invite, lads. Okay, boom, off we go. Nope, you've got to do spells, potions, everything. It's an unforgettable, even like enemies like that. So yes, he snuck up on that guy there and assassinated him. But if you get too cocky, and
if I've been done so many times for going up against we got another clip actually. I'll explain that in a minute when we show the other clip. But it's an unforgiving game. I have never died so much before in a game. It is completely unforgiving.
If you're somebody that just, because there's not even like an easy setting, is there? There's not like an easy, medium, hard. It's just fucking hard.
just death, constant death
all the time. I will see if I can load up your link that you sent me. Hopefully I can. I think I had trouble with this last time, but I will give it a go. Share screen, that one, share. There we go.
Yeah, this, believe it or not, is one of the first things you fight in the game. Right? The first monsters you come up the tree sentinel. So basically I started the game, came out, attacked it, got annihilated, absolutely slaughtered. Unforgivingly. And then every so often I go back and I fight it again and I get slaughtered again. And I think I put probably 25, 30 hours before I could go back and actually do this clip where I defeated. And the ridiculous thing is this is the first thing you see when you join the game.
It is literally the first.
It's straight out the start point.
In fact, I can probably show that because the gameplay footage I've got here is when you first like emerge.
Yeah.
Like, because it's the full gameplay that somebody's put together. They've recorded it or whatever. I should talking to the mic. And whether you'll see it in this, I don't know. But this is when you first come out of the like the tomb or whatever
it is. Area, isn't it?
Yeah, where you're in. And so obviously this is this player's experience.
Yeah, that's it.
So, there you go. So right down. Yeah,
straight out, and it's just down there.
There he is. There he is.
The first thing you come across when you join the game, he's on the right-hand side over there. This guy might miss him out.
So
but it's literally the first thing you come across when you start the game.
So enemies regenerate and stuff, but bosses, once you kill them, they're gone. That's it. You're done. But what I could do is I could enlist Jack's help. Say, look, I want to kill this horse. I don't even think I've killed this guy. I've just now realised. I don't think I've killed that one guy on the bridge. You got to do.
Yes.
That he was literally like. If you're lucky, you can take 2 hits and that's it. I don't know whether this guy's done that in this order. I have no idea. It's a bloody great game. If you like these types of games, you're going to absolutely love it. If you've never played it before,
if you've never played it, I suggest playing it. Honestly, and I thought it was not a game that I would play, but I can't. I don't. Let me see if I can see it. I can't even remember how. I've sunk quite a few hours into this, if I remember rightly.
Have you really?
I'm pretty sure I have put quite a few hours into it. Games. And it's not, as I said, it's a completely different game to my normal type of game. Achievements.
Can you see how many hours I put in? So I bet it's nowhere near as yours.
Be able to. Let's have a look. I can see achievements. Why can't I see? No, I can't. They've changed the app. You used to be able to see game time, but it doesn't look like they
can't do it anymore.
Do it anymore. That's a shame. Yeah, I have easily sunk probably 40, 50, if not more hours into this.
All right, okay.
And to the stage where I'll put it this way, right? There was one boss which I was fighting on a beachfront, and I fought that boss for about 3 months in real time. 3 months, right? Before I actually killed it. 3 solid months. I'd fight it, get destroyed, go and rank up more, come back, get destroyed, go and rank up more until I finally killed that boss after about 3 months of playing.
The only way I can relate to that is when I played Elite Dangerous and I was trying to go to oh god, I've forgotten the name of the bloody place, Colonia, which is outside the bubble, which is way out in near the center of the galaxy, and playing for about 2 hours ish a day, not every day, maybe every other day. Maybe 4 days a week, maybe 5 days a week. I would put in about 2 to 3 hours, right? On average, I'm going to say I did about 2.5 hours each time, right?
Yeah.
To get there, it genuinely took me a month to get there in real time, based on those few hours. So that's the only thing I can relate to. How do I look at how many hours I put into this game? I'm on my app now, looking at it.
I try to find it on there. I think they've took it off because you used to just click on the.
I clicked on the game.
Yeah, and it used to just give you your stats.
I've got my achievements. I've got 6 out of 42. Your progress. Can I click on that maybe? Compare. Do you know what? I can compare it, but I don't have the hours on there.
Yeah, it used to tell you the amount of hours that you've put into.
Compare with
I
you.
wonder if I can see it on the PC app actually.
I can't see it on the Xbox app, on my phone, so I don't know. That's weird. All right, cool, man. Anyway, Gameplay Junkies episode 6 in the bag, mate. I think, to be honest. Let us know any of your. We'll do. I think we'll have to bring, not next week, the week after. We'll bring back the old retro game to look at. One of our old favorite games. and stuff like we did last time. We didn't do it this time. Obviously, we're very quick to get on air, but I want to thank everybody that's popped by and watched and listened and listened to us waffle, basically. Before we go, Connor, I'm at the point of gaming now where there's no good solo games to play. My friends are hardly on now, and I've won everything in the top 5 leagues on FIFA. Built 2 stadiums on Minecraft. Mate, you want to play something more than just FIFA and Minecraft, I think, maybe.
Hey, if you want a single-player game, then play Elden Ring if you've not tried it. Honestly,
Give Elden Ring a go, yeah, 100%.
That will keep you fucking entertained.
It's a hard game, Connor, but it is good. I'm going to have to read it. I think I'll re-download it. I've just not played it yet. Again, it's having the time to do it. Single-player games coming up. Starfield, 100%. That looks amazing. I know you're not a fan, Jack, but Fallout 4 is a great game. Fallout 3 was a good game as well. Fallout 4 I would say Fallout 4 over Fallout 3, personally. Yeah. I'm trying to think of single player. Alan Wake remastered, I liked, but again, it depends on that ain't going to keep you busy long, but it's a good game. It's got a good story. The music's really good. What console you on, Connor? Actually, to be fair, I don't actually know. I think you may have told us before, but I've forgotten. Or even PC or whatever. What do you play games on?
PlayStation. You got Spider-Man this year as well, haven't you?
Spider-Man 2. Yeah.
God of War. Obviously, last year's God of War, fantastic game.
Yeah, definitely, man.
And that's single player. There's quite a few different ones.
It
depends on what you're playing.
Obviously, we're every other week on Gameplay Junkies on here. So for the next episode, let's compile a few games of single player games that we recommend for people to play other than the ones we just have. I reckon that might be a good idea, to be fair. If you're struggling to get yourself to, because when's Starfield out? Not till September.
September, so or is it November, actually?
No, September 6th, I remember now. So yeah, give that, let us know what console you're on, Connor, for next time.
Harry Potter.
I've not played it, but you liked it. You said it was really good.
Game. That was single player. Enjoyed that.
Well, yeah,
not a massively long game. But I think it was about 20 hours, 25 hours. But no, it's a good single player. Trying to think what else I've played recently.
The Assassin's Creed games. I personally enjoyed Origins and
Valhalla was good.
Valhalla was really good. I have a good couple of hours in that. Batman, any of the Batman games, the Arkham Knight trilogy. I think if you're on Xbox and you've got Game Pass, one of the Batman games is on the Game Pass. The Arkham Knight is on the Game Pass at the moment.
Mass Effect, the renewed Legendary Edition. That fantastic trilogy. If you've not played that, or if you have played the games and want to play the remastered, then I cannot highly recommend that enough. That's fantastic. That was Game Pass.
It's on Game Pass now because that's EA, isn't it?
It was Game Pass.
Whether it still is, I don't know. If you never played it before, I don't know how much it is now, but Dead Space, the remastered, it has come out. That I loved the game originally. Really good game. If you're, I'm not really into horror games, but this was really good. I enjoyed that.
It's on the PC Game Pass. I'm pretty sure it's on the console Game Pass as well. If I'm honest.
Graphically, the art style is a bit comic booky, but which I don't dislike. But I would recommend it's on Game Pass. Dishonored, the definitive edition. I played the first one. There's 3 of those games. I really enjoyed the first game. I've not played. I haven't gone through the rest of the trilogy yet. Doom 2016 was a good fun game just to pick it up and just start blowing enemies away. Skyrim, I never played it, but it's I have played a little bit of it, but I know you guys, pardon me, absolutely loved it for a single player experience. We got Fable coming out. I think that's the end of the year, or next year now. But the trilogy is available on Game Pass as well. Fable Lost Anniversary is out. That's been slightly upscale, but again, it was an Xbox original game, so it's they're not going to look amazing, but it is a good game. Far Cry 5 was all right. I enjoyed that.
Far Cry 5. Yeah,
just going to the games now. Cyberpunk, it is what it is, but I have kind of enjoyed. It is quite a good game. That's more down on my list. I wouldn't say it's right up there, but.
What else I've played, to be fair.
I'm just looking through the list of the games now, mate, that I've played. Halo. If you again, we don't know what console he is on or not on. So the Master Chief Collection, I would recommend the original trilogy. I love that personally. The Hitman games are pretty good. You've played those.
I enjoyed those. In fairness,
again, it depends on what type of game you're after. If you're in it, Mass Effect is a bloody good shout, by the way. Overgrown, if you're on Xbox, was actually a really good game. Shrunk Down reminds me how to, you got to build, again, very Minecrafty, not graphically, but in terms of collecting. I tell you what, Connor, if you like Minecraft and building things, I know you're not a massive fan, Jack, of those types of games, but I would recommend Ark. Yeah, it's such a better game than it was when it first came out, and I know Ark 2's down the line.
Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Jedi Survivor, yeah, that's a great game as well, mate. There's so many out there.
High on Life, I enjoyed that. I've not got no further with that, but I enjoyed that for what I've played so far.
Did High on Life. I did part 1 on my YouTube channel, but I never went back to it because I was going to do the whole playthrough. I found it funny in places. It didn't quite grab me as much as I thought it was going to, because what I should have done was played it, recorded it, and then released it. But what I did is I recorded the first episode, and I was like, it's all right, but I don't feel like I want to go back to it. But it is funny. I suppose it depends. It was like a Rick and Morty thing, isn't it? So, in terms of the creator,
The Witcher 3, good game. A bit of
Witcher
an older
3,
one, but a good game.
Yeah, I've got that one. I'm not. Again, I'm terrible. Just trying to through the game.
Far Cry 6, I enjoyed.
I didn't enjoy that one as much as Far Cry 5, to be honest with you. Each their own, isn't it? Really, I guess. But yeah, Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Yeah, enjoyed that.
It's not a bad game either. So anyway, let's end the show. We've talked way too much. Jack, mate, always good to see you, buddy.
Yeah,
you can follow us on Twitter you can follow Jack at JackV327 on Twitter. Follow myself at BenNny Mac on Twitter. Follow the network, obviously, at SGP World Media, and we will see you not next Sunday, although we need to talk to Si, mate, because the football season's starting soon. There's so many shows coming. We might have to rejig the schedule a bit, so I don't know how or when, but I think we're back not next Sunday, the Sunday after. So see you later, guys.
See you later.